Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to my 3 takeaways episode from the Eliot Marshall interview that I just posted this past Monday. I'm not going to lie, before going into that interview, I was a little bit nervous because I've watched some interviews with him in the past, and he's a UFC guy, and he's just a pretty intense dude. So, if you listen to the episode, you probably kind of know what I'm talking about, but he's a pretty intense dude, and so I don't really get nervous before going into many of the interviews, but I was a little bit nervous going into this one because of that, but he's such a genuine person. He states what is on his mind. He is authentic and he is truthful. He is not going to tell you just what you want to hear. He's going to tell you exactly what is on his mind and exactly what he believes to be true. So I absolutely really enjoyed the episode. His intensity was there, but it wasn't in a way that made me uncomfortable whatsoever. He freaking crushed the interview. Had a great time getting to know him a little bit further. So make sure you guys go back and take a look at the episode at nickcarrier.com/podcast. It's an unbelievable episode. I hope you're getting ready to enjoy the 3 takeaways. But before I dive into it, look, if you need a little bit more motivation in regards to your workout plan, if you need a little bit more structure, you have got to check out my 10-week fitness goal setting program, because I know a lot of you guys out there struggle with consistency. I know a lot of you out there struggle with holding yourself accountable, because I've seen people time and time again do really good for 3 weeks, and then they'll have a few days be really bad, or a week be really bad. And there's this yo-yo effect, right? Because people will be really good, and then they'll fall off, and then really good, and then fall off, and that just does not lead to lasting results. But what my 10-week fitness goal setting program allows you to do is it teaches you how to be consistent over a longer period of time. It teaches you how to follow through with the things that you know you should be doing, but you're just not doing them, or not doing them as well as you would like to. So make sure you go to nickcarrier.com/10-week programs to learn more. nickcarrier.com/10-week programs. One more time, nickcarrier.com/10-week programs. Go check it out right now so you can gain more confidence in yourself and you can change your life. With that being said, let's get right into my 3 takeaways. And there's going to be a 4th bonus takeaway today during Eliot Marshall's. Takeaway number 1 is, who are you? And it kind of sounds funny just coming out of my mouth, but he talked about how one of the biggest things to help him starting to get over the hump from his anxiety is becoming very aware of who he is, and in a very neutral manner. And I kind of asked him, what do you mean by neutral? And he was like, who are you as a human being? And when he came up with answers, he came up with, I'm a father, I'm a teacher, I'm a student, a leader, a fighter, a survivor. Those things are neutral. You can't take those away from him. He was like, when I pass away, I'm still going to be a father. When my kid passes away, I'm still going to be a father. I'm always going to be a teacher. And those things are very neutral. So once you kind of identify who you are, that's a huge part of what started getting him over the hump. And then in regards to how, then you try to evaluate how you can be the best that person. So you're a father, how can I be the best father? You're a teacher, how can I be the best teacher? But you first got to figure out who you are, because that allows you to stand on firm ground. A lot of people will tell themselves false things, that they're the best at this particular thing. But then when they're not the best at that particular thing, they don't have the foundation or something to fall back on. They'll lose their sense of identity. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm not the best at this anymore. I don't have anything to fall back on. And they kind of lose who they are. So who you are needs to be neutral. And you need to use that as your bedrock, as your foundation. And then you work to see how I can be the best at this. How can I be the best at that? And he talks about how can I be the best father? I show my 2 sons how to become a man. Takeaway number 2 is flip the focus off of me. So this is kind of an ego drop kind of a thing that he talked about. And this one was huge. I think this was one of my favorite takeaways. He said, I'm one of the most successful jiu-jitsu teachers out there. He's like, I had this UFC career. I have 7 training centers. I train professional fighters. I'm one of the most successful jiu-jitsu fighters or coaches and teachers out there around. But I had to drop that. He's like, I had to lose that. It's not their privilege to come work with me. It's my privilege that any one student will spend 1 hour with me. It's not their privilege. It's my privilege. He said, because everybody's time is the same. My hour is no different than your hour. And as you guys know, and as he said, time is our most important asset. You're not going to get it back. So he's like, I'm not going to wait. He's like, this hour right now I'm spending with you, Nick, is super important. I'm not going to get it back. You're not going to get it back. So I better deliver at a high level. So he's like, I'm going to flip the focus off of me, thinking that it's their privilege. No, it's my privilege. Takeaway number 3 is surround yourself with a team that you would go to war with. Now, he had a pretty extreme viewpoint on this, which was interesting to hear, honestly. He talked about how you have to have a guest list and an FU list. And I'm not going to say the word, but he has a couple good friends where he has a guest list and an FU list. And if he has somebody on his FU list, then one of his really good friends will also have that person on their FU list, because they're such good friends that they trust each other and they'll have each other's back no matter what. To get a little bit more deeper insight on that, I want you to go back and listen to the episode. It was really interesting to hear about how deep of a level of relationship and how deep of a friendship that he has with some of these people because of all the experiences that they've been through and how much they trust each other. But my fourth and final bonus takeaway is you must understand how you feel. I thought it was funny about this because he talks about how the women that he coaches, he doesn't even, like, if you want to know how they feel, all you can do is ask them, how do you feel? And they'll tell you. But if he works with men, then you really got to dive deep. And the way that you can kind of evaluate how you feel is you look at how you're acting, because most of the time you're acting based off of how you're feeling. And so a lot of the times when he's coaching guys and they're acting in a way that maybe isn't aligned with who they want to be, or they're not acting in a way that they want to act, you ask them, okay, what was your action? And you kind of evaluate that, and you go, okay, what drove that action? What feeling, what emotion, what belief drove that action? And then you kind of take that apart. So you really have to understand how you feel in order to perform well. Like, in order to go into a fight, you have to understand where your emotions are. You have to understand what you're feeling in order to perform in a maximal way. So again, guys, my 4 takeaways. Number 1 is, who are you? You have to have a foundational sense of who you are that is neutral, so that you always have something to fall back on. Takeaway number 2 is flip the focus off of me. It's not my privilege it's not their privilege that I'm willing to spend time with them. It's my privilege that they're willing to spend time with me. You got to drop the ego. Takeaway number 3 was, surround yourself with a team you'd go to war with. Surround yourself with people that you would do anything for, that you trust so wholeheartly that you're going to do anything for them and you're going to have their back. And then that 4th bonus takeaway is, you must understand how you feel, because in order to show up in a way that is fully you, in order to show up as the best version of yourself, you must understand how you feel. And a lot of times you have to see how you're acting. You have to evaluate that, and you have to backtrack it as to why I acted that way. Maybe it's because I feel a certain way. So I hope you guys enjoyed these 4 takeaways. I hope you enjoyed the episode with Eliot Marshall. That one was super cool, super unique, super intense dude, but he has some amazing words to say, and I couldn't be more grateful. It could have been more of my privilege to have Eliot on the episode this past Monday. I hope you guys make sure you subscribe to the podcast if you're not subscribing already. Make sure you rate and review the podcast so we can start jumping up those numbers even further and start even moving the podcast more and more up the ranks, because that's how you can best support the show. That's how we can best get the word out there and help other people get closer to the best version of themselves. And then lastly, again, if you struggle with motivation, if you struggle with structure, if you struggle with consistency, you need to check out my 10-week fitness goal setting program, because I promise you it will change your life. I'll help you define a goal that is worthy and winnable. I'll help you to create a game plan of things that you know you need to do every single week that you believe will help you achieve your goal. And then we'll create a scoreboard to monitor the progress with those things every single week. And then I'll hold you accountable every single week and set you up for success. So I hope you guys apply these 4 takeaways, I should say, so you can get closer and closer to your best you.